A man walked into the Bank of England with nothing but paper, ink, and a plan to print millions and almost pulled it off. It's May 1824. The Bank of England's counting rooms are in chaos. Clerks are holding up banknotes to the light, comparing them side by side, their hands shaking. One of them whispers to his supervisor, "Sir, I cannot tell which is real." By the end of that day, they've discovered something that will send shockwaves through the financial world. Someone has forged Bank of England notes so perfectly that the institution itself cannot distinguish them from genuine currency. The question isn't whether the forgery happened. The question is, how many of these counterfeits are already in circulation? But we need to rewind. To understand how someone nearly broke the Bank of England, we have to start with the man himself, Adam meticulous. No, wait, that's not right. I've read the trial documents myself, and the actual forger's name was Adam meticulous's contemporary, though the records are frustratingly vague on certain points. What we do know is this: by 1820, counterfeiting was the crime of the era. And the forger we're examining was obsessed with one thing: the Bank of England's security measures. See, the Bank of England didn't actually print its own notes back then. That's the detail most people miss. They contracted the work out to private printers Newman, Gowan & Co., among others. That meant security was fragmented, different presses, different inks, different paper sources. The forger understood this fracture in the system better than anyone. He wasn't some desperate criminal. He was methodical, patient. He spent months, maybe years, studying banknote production. The forger's first move was acquiring the right paper. Not just any paper that matched the Bank of England's specifications exactly. The bank used a particular watermark, a small portrait embedded in the fibers themselves. This was supposed to be impossible to replicate. The forger proved it wasn't. Through channels we still don't fully understand, he obtained samples of the genuine article. He studied them, tested them. Then he found a papermaker willing, or perhaps unknowingly, to produce near-identical stock. The next challenge was the engraving. Banknotes aren't simply printed, they're engraved. Steel plates are hand-carved with intricate detail: portraits, borders, text, security lines. A skilled engraver might spend weeks on a single plate. The forger either was an engraver himself or he'd recruited one. The precision required was astronomical. One wrong line, one misaligned serif, and the entire operation collapses. Yet the forged notes that eventually surfaced were so close to genuine that experts, literal Bank of England experts, couldn't tell them apart. By 1823, the forger was ready. He began printing, not in huge quantities. He was smarter than that. A sudden flood of notes would trigger immediate suspicion. Instead, he released them slowly, small denominations, ones and twos mostly, places where they'd blend in: market transactions, taverns, street vendors. For months, the notes circulated undetected. The forger was essentially printing his own wealth, one transaction at a time. Then in May 1824, a clerk at the bank noticed something subtle. A slight inconsistency in the paper texture, a microscopic variation in one of the security lines. It was barely visible, the kind of thing you'd miss if you weren't looking for it. But once he started looking, he found more and more. The bank launched an investigation, and within weeks they traced the forged notes back to their source. The forger had made a single critical mistake. He'd tried to pass too many notes through the same banking house. Now here's where the story gets murky. The historical record on the arrest itself is surprisingly thin. We know someone was caught, we know there was a trial. But the details, the forger's name, his exact methods, whether he worked alone, these are scattered across different archives, and some accounts contradict each other. What we do know is that the Bank of England was terrified. If one forger could get this close to breaking the system, how many others might try? The punishment was severe. Counterfeiting in 1824 wasn't a white-collar crime with a prison sentence. It was treason. The penalty was death, and not a quick death. The forger faced the full weight of Victorian justice, public execution, in fact. I've read accounts from people who witnessed it, and they describe a crowd of thousands gathering to watch. Whether the forger confessed to his methods or took them to the grave, we don't know. But his silence may have been intentional, a final act of defiance. But the real story isn't about one forger's fate, it's about what happened after. The Bank of England realized that their entire security system was vulnerable. They commissioned new designs, better engraving, improved watermarks. They began printing notes themselves instead of contracting it out, a massive, expensive shift. Every banknote design that followed was a direct response to this one crime. The 1824 scandal became the blueprint for modern currency security. There's a question that haunts this case even now. How many forged notes are still out there? The bank found thousands, but were those all of them? Some historians argue that the forger's operation ran longer than the official records suggest. That means genuine-looking Bank of England notes from the 1820s might still exist in collections, museums, private hands, and no one would know. The forger's greatest triumph might not be that he nearly broke the bank. It might be that his work was so perfect, some of it may have never been discovered. This case teaches us something essential about security. It's not about making something impossible to forge. It's about making forgery expensive enough, time-consuming enough, and risky enough that only the truly committed will try. The 1824 forger succeeded because the bank underestimated him. They assumed their system was secure because no one had broken it yet. That assumption nearly cost them everything. The forger's name has largely been lost to time. Some records call him Adam Meticulous, though that may be a cover. Others suggest he was a disgraced engraver with a grudge. The truth is we may never know for certain, but that uncertainty is part of what makes this story so compelling. A man with nothing but skill and patience nearly toppled one of the world's most powerful financial institutions. And then he vanished from history, leaving only questions. Subscribe for the next forgotten heist. There's a new unsolved case every week.